So the types of adapters in the Liberty University video titled The Different Innovation Adapters, we're first introduced to these 5. We have the innovators who are willing to experience those new ideas, the early adopters, which are leaders to provide advice or information, early majority, the first to adopt the innovation, the late majority, the last group to adopt the innovation, and they typically do it out of the need and the peer pressure that is applied to them. And then the laggards. They adopt the innovation after seeing how it is used already. So now we have utilizing innovators, early adopters, and early majority. As stated in Nelson Gibson, Online Teaching of Its Best, Merging Instructional Design with Teaching and Learning 2017, I would have the innovators and the early adopters and the early majorities help lead and implement the new technology by trialing new technologies in the classroom. So for example, if there were a couple different technologies that we were thinking about implementing, a couple different applications, this group would be the first to try it and give feedback before it is applied to the whole school. They would run small group professional developments. Within teaching, we're always taught that having smaller groups and running those small groups allows educators to really understand what those students are learning and what those areas of need are. So applying that same concept here, these 3 groups would be running the professional development groups, and in those small groups, the laggards and the late majority would be able to really ask questions and dive deep into the learning of the new technology that would be implemented. Create tutorials to explain special features or programs. So here the innovators, early adopters, and early majority could explore the programs and record themselves. That way, when they post it to the whole school, educators can go back and learn for themselves when they have time. Create example lessons to inspire the late majority and the laggards. So here, the late majority and the laggards will be able to see, oh, okay, this is how I could use it, and really inspire them to keep moving forward with the technology. If Christ was on Earth, he would open his arms and he would show love to the innovators, the early adopters, and the early majority. One quote that really stuck out to me was Isaiah 50:10. The mountains may shift and the hills may be shaken, but my faithful love won't shift from you, and my covenant of peace won't be shaken, says the Lord, the one who pities you. And again, that's Isaiah 54:10. So for me, this really spoke out and showed that Christ would be opening and accepting. He would have the early adopters and the early majority in his presence and show him love and just keep continuing that relationship and that path. Leaving with the late majority and the laggards. So this group really needs motivation. They need to be inspired. They need to feel comfortable. So if I would be implementing this technology, I would have this group observe how technology is being introduced in other classrooms, having those teachers go in, sit in the classroom, kind of get a feel and an understanding of what the technology is about and how to use it is very, very important. It's really significant for those late majority and laggards because they see that others are using it and that they can too. Then we have that professional development. So again, partaking in those small group professional development opportunities would really have them ask questions and reflect on their own learning. Give classroom incentives to those that are using the technology. This is a way to help motivate other teachers and show them we need to be using this technology, and here is a reward for those people who are actually using it. And then the last, provide feedback to educators on growth. So the early majority, early adopters, and the innovators could come in and even observe the late majority and the laggards in the classroom, provide feedback and say, hey, you did this amazing, great job, but I think you could also use the technology here or on this lesson to really give feedback and keep reflecting on our growth. if Christ was on this earth, I would feel like he would spend most of his time with the late majority and the laggards to nurture that relationship. So John 13, 1-17 spoke to me as it says, he came to Simon Pete, who said to him, Lord, are you going to wash my feet? Jesus replied, you do not realize what I am doing, but later you will understand, I found this to be very impactful because it shows that Jesus is washing the feet of his disciples. He's spending time with the poor. He's spending time with the people he needs to convince of his love. So this group, the late majority and the laggards, they're not very accepting. So having Jesus keep working with them and showing them that it's okay would be really impactful for this group. Leading through Christ. So from a biblical perspective, a system should operate in a way that works together towards a common goal. So all the different types of adopters should be working towards the common goal. In this case, the implementation of technology, as well as learning through Christ and carrying on those characteristics that is so deep installed within all of us. As described in LSLS 4:9-10, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their toil. For they fall, one will lift up his fellow. So for me personally, this just explains that we're all working together as a system, as a group to fulfill, God's wishes and the wish of loving each other and accepting each other. And, we all do fall down along the way, but we also have each other to lift us back up and get back on that path towards working towards our common goal of showing each other love and kindness, which is what Christ would want for us.